audio disturbance.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning to anyone who's tuning in. It is currently 8:51 a.m., Saturday, September 20th. Yeah, I've been up since 5 a.m. Just taking care of my sick cat. Sticking around. What did I do last night? What did I do? I took mushrooms, and that wasn't bad. More on that later. I am currently hunched over, in a recliner, which is a little ironic. I'm not sitting in it properly, but that's because of my mic setup. I need a mic arm, but instead I'm using a mic stand, so I do have to hunch over to comfortably. This whole setup is very, oh god, it's all over the place. If you hear me turning, it's because I'm turning my head to check on, my podcast setup and everything. I hate using that word. I want to, pardon me. I want to figure out a name for this program. I like program better. It reminds me of radio. That's what I want it to kind of be. I don't know if that sounds a little stupid. Everything I say sounds stupid, so. If you hear little skittering noises, it is because my second cat is in a little carrier over to my right. And sometimes there might be some cuts in this test pilot episode. This is not the pilot, this test episode. Because I will have to go deal with my sick cat. She has stomach issues, and we give her these drops for her. But I really should have spaced out the drops a bit more, because I gave them all to her basically when she started having her little thing this morning. So now she's just kind of fighting through it, and I can't give her any more of the drops, otherwise she'll be, overdosing for the day. I hope that's not that. No, I don't think that's her. She's got stomach issues, and what is it? I don't want to get into it. I've seen many movies this year that I will be talking about the more I come back to recording. How many movies have I seen this year? Let me try to count them. Pardon me a second. I think I've seen, that was a little loud. I think I've seen at least, I would say at least, probably as for new movies that, I've never seen before, I would say I've watched at least 30, maybe more. In theaters, I think I've seen 15 or so movies. I know it's definitely over 10. Somewhere around 12, 13. And I will say that 2025 has been a pretty decent year for movies. Pretty solid. I think I need to turn my mic down. I think that's better. I think, yep, that's a little better. I just don't, I want to be able to talk without having to, I'm definitely going to have to edit this audio and compress it a little bit, but I want to be able to talk without blowing out your guys' eardrums. I might need to, just overall, work things out and figure things out. I just don't think this is the best podcasting microphone. I could be wrong. I could be just using it incorrectly. But who knows? 2025 was a good year for movies. I would say that a lot of filmmakers are trying, I wouldn't say they're trying new things so much as they're polishing up the old stuff and really, I feel like superhero movies have been good this year. I didn't see Thunderbolts, when I see superhero movies, I mean Superman and Fantastic Four First Steps. Those were two really good superhero movies with a lot of heart, a lot of focus on emotion and family. Fantastic Four, family, more. You get my point. Um, and I just I have more examples in my head, and I'll come across them. But uh, it's just been a good year for movies. There have been good thrillers. There have been good action films. There have been good, and I haven't seen everything, obviously. But there have been decent horror films. I would actually argue that one of my favorite films of this year was a horror movie, and that was Weapons. And that was oh my god, loved that one. My favorite film I've seen this year uh, isn't even new. Not even to bias my opinion with it being new, but it was The Long Walk, and I think Francis Lawrence really does a great job with that one. I think I'm reading the book right now. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I'm going to try my hardest to, but I think that The Long Walk is by far one of the best. I think it might be the best Stephen King adaptation I've ever seen. I want to say I like It more, but I can't because It Chapter 2 is much less consistent than Chapter 1, and I do have to think of it as like a whole thing in the way I think of like Lord of the Rings or like Back to the Future, which don't even get me started on that. The fact that I have to count 2 and 3, I would rather not, but it's a trilogy. Trilogies are a thing for a reason. What is it? I was thinking of Star Wars the other day and how just a trilogy can go so bad. I'm getting off topic here. I don't even know what I was just talking about. I mean, I started this podcast with a bong rip and then told you it's 9 a.m. If that's any, if there's any correlation there, whatever. This show, this thing, what is this? This is gonna be me talking alone. I like to talk alone, and I realized that I could be using that as an outlet. I think we just hit on the recording, it's 13 minutes, but as for the actual episode, I'm not sure how long we've been going for. But this show thing, I want to call it a show, I want to call it a program, but I'm not sure how long it's going to go for. It's just off the cuff. It's just a way for me to talk to myself and hopefully soon other people, um, God willing. But I just figured there was a more constructive way of talking to myself and formulating ideas. And I can always just go back and listen to this after it's posted, after it's edited. I just scratched my headphones. And I can always just listen to my own thoughts and listen to my own monologue as I have a very I have very much have an outer monologue rather than an inner monologue. It's hard for me to talk to myself in my head rather than with my mouth. And so I don't know. I feel like there's a more useful you as a creative person, not even to like blow my own cock, but as a creative person, I feel I need an outlet to actually throw my creative ideas, against a wall, so to speak. I think this would be a good idea. This whole podcast thing. I'm gonna have to learn how to edit audio. Obviously I'm hearing my voice in my ears, but it is not as bassy as the recording is going to be. There's going to be audio peaks, and I already don't like that. I'm going to have to compress this audio or just learn how to fucking not yell into a microphone. What I watched last night? I watched Superman. but only the first hour. However, I'd already seen Superman in theaters. I think I implied that a little bit ago. Um, uh, oh, yeah. I watched the first hour of Superman twice, actually. I watched it by myself. I got about 42 minutes of the way through. Went and made myself food. Uh, Took a shit, you know, smoked half a joint, and by the time that I'd gotten back to the movie, I had kind of, the whole 42 minutes was out of my brain. I was trying to get my dad to watch it all day, but he was tired, and I don't blame him at all. Um, and he ended up around 9 o'clock. I just, I shot it off the hip. I said, jokingly, watch the first 30 minutes with me and see if you like it. But he put it on, and we ended up watching. Was it like an hour and 12 minutes of it? And he turned it off because he was tired, not because he was disliking it. In fact, I was surprised at how much he enjoyed it. But he's got a big old 4K TV, and goddamn, Superman is just such a good looking movie. It's weirdly, I don't like to say this because it sounds stupid, but it's weirdly artistic. Like, I'm noticing how James Gunn plays with like lighting and all that. Like depending on what time of day it is, Superman, the film Superman, it's realistically lit in a way I was not expecting. Like, the first couple scenes are super bright because they take place in the morning, to the point where I am blinded by the first like couple like initial shots of like sunlight. You get what I mean if you've seen the movie. And I just think that even if it is uncomfortable to look at sometimes, I love how the film actually has a visual style and has a look to it, rather than just be this fucking, like, I just feel like James Gunn is even if Superman kind of feels choppy at times editing wise, I think he's got a good idea of where to point a camera and not have us staring at nothing as an audience. We've only got so much room in this rectangle, and yet so many people want to waste the frame. Waste this perfect little. You get what I mean. That sounds fucking stupid, I know, but I care a lot about movies, and James Gunn really does manage to. He manages to do all the right things when it comes to casting the right actors and getting good performances out of them and pointing the camera in the right place and you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Sorry for peaking audio. I'm hearing it too. In fact of the matter is, I think this is just an older mic, one with less noise suppression. I shouldn't say older, I should say cheaper. One with less noise suppression than I'd like, but hopefully I can get like a budget going for this. I want to start just talking and just formulating my thoughts, like I said. Yeah. Superman was good. I think James Gunn is a good director. I'm excited for what he's going to do with the DCU. The DCU, not the DCEU. You most likely know. I don't feel like whatever audience I'm going to, if I do amass an audience from this, I don't feel that whatever audience I'm going to amass is not going to understand fucking geeky shit like that. I don't feel I draw in a crowd that that doesn't understand what the fuck a Batman is outside of Christopher Nolan. Oh my god, that's a whole fucking thing I wanted to talk about. Was that's a whole nother rant, is how I don't really like the Christopher Nolan. Well, I like the Christopher Nolan, two of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, correct myself. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's a fucking mess. But I think the first two Christopher Nolan Batman movies are good. But Christopher Nolan / Christian Bale's Batman, it's a fault on both their parts. is just not, in my opinion, a good... He's... Okay, it's not a good Batman, and I question if it's a good Bruce Wayne. Like I said, it's both of them, Christian Bale and, Christopher Nolan. It's kind of a fault on both their parts, where I feel like I don't like this, the overall, like, straight up the amalgamation that they formed into Batman. This loud, fucking obnoxiously voiced, like, just, it's really the voice and the presence. I feel like, Nolan's Batman is way too military, and I mean that in the suit. The, like, chest plates and everything are way too... It's to the point now where I feel like it's almost customary to have those, like... Because of Christopher Nolan and how big The Dark Knight and everything was, it's almost customary to have those fucking fake abs in the Batman suit. And I feel like, Superman was getting really close to that, because obviously Nolan produced and, had a hand in Man of Steel and the rebooting of the DCEU. I'm actually glad I have a fucking way to separate those two. I just feel like Nolan did so many things that really I just don't agree with when it comes to Batman. The suit is just so... Like, and it's odd to me that I think about my old action figures when The Dark Knight was coming out. The first one, not The Dark Knight Rises, I mean, not the first one. But when that was coming out and the playsets were coming out and I was a child and I actually had a Joker Batman playset, I forget what the actual set was, but at some point I had a Batmobile. Anyway, I remember just the way that the Batman mask interacts with the neck, and I understand it is for neck mobility. Batman needs to, but come on, the Batman with Pattinson and directed by Matt Reeves, like, come on. If they were able to do it and effectively have Batman, like, obviously he's not turning his neck 100% in that movie, and obviously Nolan didn't want that. You've got to have actual action sequences where Batman can turn his neck. But my problem is it looks like a fucking bobblehead. And I know nobody's gonna hear this. I know nobody cares. But to me, it looks like a fucking bobblehead. It's just this, and I bring up the action figures because it was the same way, if not more exaggerated, with the action figures, to the point where it was like Bale's head, or should I say Batman, whatever. Christian Bale's head was like fucking popping off of his neck. You can see the neck stump like tapering off before the jawline even hits the fucking neck. Like, it's wild how it's just such a weird look. I don't like that, like, round-headed Batman. I do like it. It's when it gets to the jaw that I don't like, because I love how the back of the head goes into the ears. That, like, subtle curve is very nice, as opposed to having flat-necked Batman. Flat-necked Batman is so prevalent. Almost every Batman has that fucking flat neck. God. Stumbling over my words because I care so much about Batman. It's just this, it's just such a jarring shift where it's like, I like the curve of the head, and then you fucked it up by having it, like, it tapers off, and then the neck goes into it, and it just looks so goddamn weird to me. And it's also the fact that I feel like Batman's characterization kind of leaves when he becomes this gritty, ultra-violent, nasty Batman. Like, people criticize Affleck Batman. Batfleck. I should probably just call him Batfleck. But I feel that, if anything, it's just a continuation of what the Dark Knight started, what Nolan started. It's just, like, it's the natural direction of, like, what do you expect? You had Batman become this fucking loud, obnoxious, angry, violent, and obviously, they try to act like Bale's Batman is sorry, I should just call it Nolan's Batman because it's barely even his character. Um, Nolan's Batman is just, they try to act like he separates his anger, or rather uses his anger to fuel his fighting, and thus he's only mad at the criminals and can only take out his anger on the criminals. But like it like in a realistic, when you actually think about it realistically, it's it's hard to separate, you can't, it's hard to separate Batman from Bruce Wayne, and I feel that Matt Reeves' Batman is so much better at it, it balances the character more in a way that I feel is necessary for Batman. You need to have Bruce Wayne and Batman not be two completely separate entities. You have to have them at least interacting with each other and all that, not in a physical sense. You get what I mean? In a way that is not like it's conflicting. It's conflicting how Christian Bale goes from, oh, I'm suave, cool Bruce Wayne, and all of a sudden I'm violent, just nasty, loud, mean, fucking. And when he is talking low, he's everybody's made that joke. Everybody's made that fucking joke. But it's just this fucking. It's just this like I just don't like it. I really don't. It's. Yeah. No, I don't. I'm just at this point. I'm just fucking stuttering and just getting myself running in circles. Um. Yeah. Yeah, I could talk about that for hours. I could talk about fucking how I don't like Christopher Nolan's Batman. And only in recent years have I really thought about it and come to that conclusion, because I loved, like everyone else, The Dark Knight to me, Dark Knight is one of the best, uh, you know, I wouldn't even say comic book movies. I would say superhero action movies of all time. It's just so, it's a good thriller. It's just so tight, and it's barely even about Batman. It's more about like the people in Gotham, and like how Joker affects people and stuff, and if anything, it's just so much better uh because of its lack of super over the top fucking actiony Batman, in my opinion. I love, some car chase sequences, but even then it's like they do this they do this cool thing. I will admit, the Nolan movies do this cool thing of showing Batman as, and I'm gonna bring up a point, but I'm gonna do that later. But they make it a point of showing Batman kind of be this scary entity. Batman is meant to scare people, and as much as I enjoy that, it feels like it feels like they didn't commit fully, because Bale's Batman doesn't look intimidating. And I hate to say that, but he really doesn't. He's an action figure. Like the way the head is and everything. Like, if this show ever gets visuals, I want to put up a picture of the fucking Batman toys that I'm talking about. They're just not. Oh God, it just illustrates my point of why I don't like the costume. But if you're going to have Batman be this scary character, have him be menacing. He looks like a goddamn action figure with how they mold his fucking muscles and everything. Give Batfleck credit for this. Like, he looks menacing. He's big. He's hulking. He looks like Frank Miller's Batman. It's kind of fucking awesome. And I will give Zack Snyder that. He made him look like Frank Miller's Batman. Maybe not to a T, but there's definite inspiration there. And I actually really like the grays of his suit rather than the full black. I like the gray black. I actually like certain aspects of the design. Many of the designs from Justice League. I like Flash's more industrial, robotic-looking suit that theoretically he had to make himself. I mean, yeah, he did have to make it himself because he didn't have Wayne Tech at that time. But like Justice League Snyder cut, or I'm pretty sure it's even in the Whedon cut that he looks like that. But I like that outfit he wears. I like Wonder Woman's outfit. I just don't really like. I like Aquaman in his non-orange and green outfit. And I'm talking about Snyderverse. Because the orange and green outfit is very James Wan. They made that choice because they want it to be accurate, and I like that. But considering how Aquaman looks, i.e. played by Jason Momoa, it just doesn't fit the fucking goofy suit. I mean, but for Aquaman fans, it's good. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that like fans are happy about. What I'm missing though is if you're gonna have Aquaman look the way he does right now, which I don't even know if he's still playing Aquaman, give him the fucking hook hand. You know, give us the fucking rebooted Aquaman, where he almost looked like Thor, but it was meant to look like a grizzled fisherman. And I can't be the only one that thinks that. Yeah, I love Hook Hand Aquaman, even if he's not. He got a bad rap. He got a bum rap. It's not. I wouldn't say he got much time in the limelight. I wouldn't say that he's beloved by most. He's a fan favorite, you know. But who's a fan of Aquaman? And on that note, I'm gonna take a small intermission, and I'll come back. You're gonna hear a very clear click or. Took an extended break there. Was checking on my cat. Her name is Mimi. She's battling some. Well, she has frequent stomach issues, but I found out this time she has worms, and they are alive, and I just feel so bad for her. She's gonna get through it. I know she is. She's a trooper. But I got myself a cup of coffee. I took a piss. Of course I did. Was trying to think what. Yeah, I was gonna make myself some breakfast, but yeah, I just wasn't feeling like it yet. You know, hit the mic. I really only eat when I'm like hungry, unless of course you're just sitting there with the munchies, and of course you're gonna eat like a snack or something. But like, especially early in the day, I find that I don't really like to overload myself with food. You know, I'll start with like. It's one of the reasons I have like orange juice and milk and water and coffee at breakfast is because I'm a liquid guy. I don't drink as much liquids as I should. I don't stay as hydrated as I should. But if, god damn it, if I don't need a specific drink for a specific meal, you know? Like, you've got your all-purpose drinks, like water, 100%. Some ice cold water goes with absolutely anything. But you know, sometimes you want orange juice, and that goes best with like breakfast. Milk goes good with breakfast, but also, I feel sometimes, uh, it's not just good for desserts, but like, you know, sometimes you want to live like you're in the fucking any time before like the 2000s, because by the 2000s people stopped really drinking milk at breakfast and all that, which I hate to say it sucks because I am now lactose intolerant, and even as a kid, even though I was lactose intolerant, I still drank milk and I built an immunity to it. And I don't know, I just don't drink it as much as I used to. And as a result, when I do have a glass of milk, it just fucking bloats me up and it makes me feel so sick. Um, but I've been trying to build up that immunity again. I've been trying to get my body used to, because I need a calcium intake. I know I could be taking vitamins and all that, but if I'm not going to be taking vitamins, I might as well be drinking milk, you know, have a cup of milk every once in a while, and not just with cereal. I was eyeing up that Frankenberry when I was in the kitchen. I was eyeing up that Frankenberry. I think I might have a bowl of that, maybe. I'm not totally sure what I'll do. There's a meat lovers. Oh, I was thinking about this. There's a meat lovers breakfast bowl in the freezer, and I thought if I fucking hate what our world has become, where it's like, yes, I love convenience, but the main reason I love convenience, aside from the fact that everyone loves convenience to a certain extent, is that I have been trained to expect, like to expect that putting the least amount of effort into something is going to yield a positive result. Uh, and that really reflects in like is it frozen meals? Like this whole thing of like Gordon Ramsay frozen meals and all that. They've been coming out with a lot of them lately. And like fast food has been coming out with a lot of new menu items lately, and it's all just for the sake of just keeping you fat and keeping you happy as fast as possible. And I feel like sometimes I just really, I regret not forcing myself to go against the grain and really, I say against the grain as if cooking is fucking not normal, but, force myself even when I have convenience at hand to to make myself some food, really go out of my way to do something for myself rather than, do something for myself in an actual sense of growing myself and all that, rather than doing something for myself in the sense of, you know, another fucking meal down. What did I do? I popped it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I was listening to a Patton Oswalt bit about his depression and fucking lean cuisines. And I feel that. I feel that like that feeling of like, oh, I don't want to go through all the steps and everything, but then realizing that, purposefully going out of your way to have your life be as low effort and low stakes as possible in regards like that, even when it comes to something as simple as cooking, is like, it's, I don't know. No, I don't know. Sorry, I thought I heard my cat out there. Um, there might be more cuts because Mimi, my cat, is she's not doing good, and I will have to go out and assist her if need be. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep talking. Gonna try to keep. This is just really a test to see if I can truly sit down and carry an entire conversation. Because if I can, then that gives me hope for, let's say, doing a playthrough of a game that I actually care about. You notice how my my voice gets thinner when I start talking about doing gameplay and all that, because I really don't have the confidence to carry a let's play series like that and keep it interesting. I don't know if I have what it takes. But talking is easy. Talking is something that I can just do. I talk all the time, regardless if I'm being recorded or if there's someone in the room. I'm talking, and that's, like I said, one of the reasons that I'm checking my phone. That's what this is. This is an exercise in, can I actually utilize the time I just spend talking positively? Can I actually, rend something of this? And I feel I can. I feel like there's an actual chance, because if I don't do this, or if I don't do something creative, I'm gonna sit there on my phone all fucking day long, and it's just not, it's not satisfying at all. Oh, pardon me. And I'm realizing that as I'm coming back to like books and stuff like that, and I'm deleting. Oh my goodness. Ugh. It's disgusting. Sorry. As I'm deleting social media and stuff like that, and trying my hardest to stay off my phone, I realize that sometimes it just happens where I'll open YouTube, and now they have YouTube Shorts where I'll just be scrolling through YouTube Shorts. But even then, the original, as the children say, doom scrolling, as if I'm not young myself, the original doom scrolling was going up for me and for my generation, or yeah, I would say for my generation, was scrolling through YouTube and like Newgrounds and websites and stuff like that. It was never just specifically, a lot of it was really stupid and, pardon me, Fucking bugs everywhere. I'm the bug man. I'm covered in bugs. 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 Fuck, I need like instant playback, I swear. I just fucking forgot what I was just talking about. Um fuck. God damn it. I might actually have to go back and listen. uh let me try to recall. Um I don't think I can remember what I was saying. Uh I'm gonna go back real quick. Hold on. This is embarrassing. I can't always do this. This is not always gonna be. You know what? Fuck it. We're not gonna go back. We're gonna stick to our guns here. I'm very absent-minded. Obviously I've revealed already that I smoke marijuana. I'm of legal age too. I talked about the fact that I did mushrooms last night. I microdose. And I will say this, that, while it's never pleasant to do psychedelics and then be confronted with horrible screeching sounds and your cat's problems, immediately as you wake up. Okay. This is why we have test episodes, though. This is why, some days we just won't record a podcast, but I'm sticking to my guns with this one. Sorry, I'm just dealing with my cat, and I think that it's just stressing me out. I mean, obviously it would for anybody. I haven't really gone in depth about what's going on, but obviously if anybody's cat's gonna get sick to the point where they have to leave a recording, be it whatever it is, I'm sure you, the audience, whoever that may be, can understand. Anyway, I was talking about mushrooms, and I was saying how they're like the most chill psychedelic that God, Jesus Christ, they're fucking a lot of people going by. It's Saturday, so I expect people to be out. Um, I don't know what kind of fucking rant I'm going on about psychedelics. Anyway, I took some last night. I took mushrooms, and I've got some nice chill mushrooms, and yeah, they're chill. Yeah, I just think that I think that if I'm gonna do anything, I might as well make it mushrooms, ones that I know where they're coming from, you know, um, and just like a bite here or there, if it's a night where I'm feeling a little spunky like last night, just eat like half a stem, but it was pretty blue, so I didn't eat the whole half. I only ate like I would say like 40, 45. No, I'd say 40%, 42% to get specific, um, of that stem I ate. And I was feeling it, it wasn't really kicking for the first half of Superman. It basically took that time until I started making some food to kick in. And then, when I watched, with my dad, when I was rewatching that first like 40 minutes, and then we got to like the hour 15 mark, I'd say. I was feeling it, but it's a nice big 4K TV. The colors look great, and I was enjoying it. I was enjoying the hell out of it. I also, it's obviously not for everybody, but I've found that I keep a level head when it comes to psychedelics, because I've spent so much time, dealing with them. But that's another story for another day. That's multiple stories for another day. But point is, when you actually have experience with psychedelics and all that, mushrooms are just one of those things where it's like, you want to do some mushrooms, and I never realized it was going to be like that until, I got older, and obviously you can't ask everybody, but, out of everything that you could ask somebody if they want, fucking a little magic mushrooms is so much less off-putting than being one of those people who fucking casually is hey, you want to fucking, you want to go do fucking blow in my bathroom, um and it's just, I like, if I were at a party and I knew some people and I knew they were cool, and I mean like cool, I don't mean like, are you cool? Are you cool? You're not gonna rat on me, And but while I do kind of mean that, I don't mean like I'm gonna pull out something that's gonna make you want to talk to people, and I hope you don't want to, but like what I'm rambling. My point is, if I was in a room of people that I knew they weren't gonna freak out, that's the kind of thing you can bring out to a group of like 4 or 5 people and be like, hey, this is. I wouldn't say this party is boring, it may not even be a boring party, but hey, we're all at a get together. You guys want to, eat a little bit, because I feel like back in the day, even when I was a teenager, and I don't know if times have changed for teenagers now, but just now they're doing fucking perks and galaxy gas and shit. They were doing perks when I was in fucking school, but we couldn't get them where I go. We couldn't get them. We did acid, and it was so much more prevalent to be like, hey, you want to fucking trip balls? But as you get older, you just can't do that. You just can't walk up to somebody and be like, hey, do you want to see fucking Star of David turn into David? That's so stupid, but you get my point. And it's just kind of like, I just wish that I had some friends that I could be like, hey, you want to fucking put some mushrooms on some pizza and fucking Detroit Rock City. Great movie. I need to get I have an original DVD of Detroit Rock City, but it's got a scratch on it, and I'm pretty sure it won't play. It fucking kills me, because I'm pretty sure they didn't release it on Blu-ray. I'll have to look it up. In fact, I could even look it up right now. But yeah, a lot of stuff has been getting released on Blu-ray lately, and 4K. Movies that you would just not expect, to get Blu-ray. Like Beastmaster. I saw a 4K edition of Beastmaster, but the only way you can get it is in a box set. I'm pretty sure the regular Blu-ray is only like fucking $20, or maybe it's not sold anymore. I'm not totally sure. But fucking, oh, what was I thinking? I was thinking Blu-ray. I was thinking Detroit Rock City. Detroit Rock City Blu-ray. Like an old man asking Google. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Please tell me this is real, because Blu-rays.com loves to. They might not sell this anymore. They might not. Oh, fuck me. Because I'm seeing pictures and stuff, but it's the Japanese Blu-ray. I mean, I've got a fucking, what is it? A Korean? I think it's it's a Korean, Dogma. Because up until recently, you couldn't get a Blu-ray of Dogma. People might not be aware of the licensing rights because of the Weinstein Company and everything. The fucking hell that Kevin Smith had to go through to get the rights back to Dogma. I don't even know the story of him getting the rights back. All I know is that he was fucked over for a long time. And I really like Dogma, or rather, I think it's a great, in my opinion, it is a great way to end the original View Askew. It's a quintilogy or a quadrilogy. Quintology or I don't know if it's a quintology. I think it's a quintilogy. Whatever. You get my point. It's either 4 or 5 movies, but that original run of films, not counting Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and all that, like that original, you can count Strikes Back if you want, but I think that's really the end of, because Dogma is like, God and all that, and I really think that it manages to have some high stakes in a series where everything has always been kind of aloof and purposefully lackluster to show the mediocrity of the world. And we're back. Yep. Had to run off again, but these are the sacrifices we make when we get an animal. Wasn't my idea, but I will never let these cats die. I don't think I'm going to get another animal after these cats pass away, because I've already had... Is it my nose? I think my nose just squeaked. Maybe the chair. I don't know. I think I'm just going fucking crazy because I just at any moment I could hear my cat meow, and I'm just like, yeah. It's as soon as I stop talking, it's like, God, that's fucking weird. It's like a gross echo chamber in my head. Anyway, um, I've had so many cats, uh, animals in general, but cats mainly, die in my lifetime. That I had an emotional connection with, and I feel like at this point it's just like the fucking sadness has just reared its ugly head. For what feels like too many times, for the final time, too many times for my liking, I should say. And so it's like once these cats, these last two, well, there's three actually, because my dad still has a cat that I still love very much. Her name is Mittens. Um, After these three, I'm just gonna, maybe wait until I'm like 50 or something to get a dog. Or, maybe when I hit my 30s, I'll just want another animal, and then it's like having a kid where you completely forget how much you fucking hated it, you know? With a kid, it's more like you actually fucking hate it, but, with an animal, if they're not an asshole, what you hate is the heartbreak. What you hate is fucking, the sickness, vet bills, shit like that. But you never hate the animal. Unless you're a fucking psycho. I don't know. I feel like that's a strong opinion to have out the gate, but it's not one that I feel is a shameful one to have. I don't feel ashamed having that opinion. What am I to do on this show? What am I to really say? Well, I'm into movies, so I'm going to talk a lot about movies. I don't like politics, so I will not be talking about politics. I don't talk about religion. I'll be talking about movies, video games, various media, books, if I'm reading a book, things I've seen recently, and I might move on to reacting to media and things like that. In the kind of way that most people branch out. I might do some live streams or something like that, or if this actually ends up going somewhere, I might start doing like live versions of the podcast of the show. And well, I'm gonna try to figure out a name for this whatever this is. I'm gonna try to figure out a point to all this. Have some guests on. Really talk about something, and I feel like I actually had something to say today about the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and I have a lot more to say. Trust me. I have a lot to say. I feel like sometimes I have too much to say about everything. I do know that if I can help it, I will be. I don't know if it's my dad or not because he's getting cat medicine. I do know that I will have to, if I want to review a film properly, I will have to have this setup ready on the fly so that I may review a movie while it's still fresh in my head. Because if I don't do that, I will completely forget some things, and I will be in the moment spouting fucking legitimately every criticism I have in my head to myself. And then the next day I'll be like, well, how come I don't remember anything? Because I talked to myself about it rather than, the responsible thing. Pardon me. Coming on here and talking, because if I'm gonna talk out loud to myself, after I come home from the theater, or rather on the walk home from the theater, I'm talking to myself out loud, and I think to myself how I could be using all of this as like material. Material for what? I'm not sure. Who's actually going to watch this? Who's actually going to listen to this? Because watching this is not really an option at this point. You're probably looking at a picture of like Superman or like a cat or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to title this episode Sick Cats, Superman, and something else. I'm not sure what that is. I might change up the format, but early on, probably the format's going to be, what is it? Blank, blank, and blank, topic. Put the topics as the title. But I might start getting creative, because I'm going to have to edit these podcasts, or whatever the hell they are. If I could run a radio show, I would, I would. Because then I'd be able to show you guys songs and stuff like that. Have callers. I'd love to have a studio. It'd be wonderful. Man, I'm just saying nothing. I'm just rambling. I just feel like maybe I've said enough for today. I'm trying to think of something to say. I'm a little distracted right now. I might need to take a break and, maybe try to either record some more on this one or record a new episode later. I could always watch a movie. I always think about that. I could watch a movie and talk about it. What do I do? I wonder how much of this is gonna get edited out. Oh man, this is why this is episode 0. This is not the pilot. This is not. Kind of is, but I'm gonna call it episode 0. I don't care what people think about that. They're not gonna listen to this. They don't. Yeah. Unless something from this episode makes it into the best of that I plan on making, if we ever get enough episodes. That'll probably be the end of it. And there probably won't be people looking for this episode unless they really care, which I don't see people caring. And yeah, I think that's it. I guess I'll try this again some other time. Thank you for listening. If anybody listened, I'm not even gonna try with an outro. Just fucking fade into something.